Hey guys, welcome to the Stream Space, and welcome back if you've been here before. We are here with a double-header episode of Gaming Pickups. We have gone to the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo, and we have collected a really nice little pile of games. And if you're not sure what that expo is, it's basically a fun little event that we get here, and we get like celebrity actors and stuff that come in, and we get like a bunch of different specialty vendors. They do like custom wares, but they also do a lot of like game there's a lot of game shops, and some of them that only even operate out of conventions, so they don't even have like adage names, markets, anything. So they kind of just they bring their stuff in and they just work with the cons. And so we were able to get a bunch of really cool pickups from this. Some of these are also from someone who on our gaming group decided they wanted to purge a bunch of their steelbooks and ended up giving away not only the steelbooks but 4 complete games in the process, one of which is actually pretty cool. We'll be diving into that first. We're going to start off our list with a game that wasn't technically bought during convention, but it is stirring up a lot of hype and a lot of controversy with its censorship, but also the fact that it has been rated as one of the best PlayStation games of this generation. I can't speak to that myself, but in addition to the gaming pickup stuff, we got a cool special one that we're going to show you here in this binder. Okay, and it needed to be protected because one of my favorite Star Wars actors actually went to our convention this year. I was really happy to get to meet the guy and grab his autograph. Turns out he's as much of a sweetheart as the character he plays may indicate. And also, I mean, the other characters he plays are kind of rough, but also he is one of the best iterations of the Joker. So let's dive into the list. We're going to do that part at the end. And obviously, with these retro shops, if we know their name, we're going to throw a shout out towards them. If we don't know their name, obviously we can't, because, I mean, they only work with the cons. But we'll make sure that credit is given where it is due, because these guys should be supported, because they price things in such a friendly manner that you just can't not buy from them. They're really nice guys. So without further ado, let's jump into the list. First up, Stellar Blade for the PlayStation 5. Now this is what I said was getting like rave reviews, but it's also facing some controversy regarding some of the censorship. I mean, honestly, games like Bayonetta are no worse or better than this in terms of like how much I guess adult content and suggestive themes have appeared in them, but it doesn't make them any less of a good game just because they used some realistic body physics. And I'm trying to say that as professionally as I can, because, I mean, it can be funny. It's funny to me even, but at the same time, I don't think that's what makes a good game. So they can have all of that, all the exposure and body physics that they want, but it doesn't make it a good game. But it has that and is getting these really good ratings. So I don't know. We'll make sure that when we do a first impressions of the game, when we go to play it for the first time, that we bring you guys in and we'll check it out together. Anyway, so that's Stellar Blade for the PlayStation 5. That is the first one on our list. Next up, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. This is a remaster of the original game from the GameCube, which in our previous episodes we actually showed you that we have obtained the original GameCube version. But this was in that pile of free games. There were some decent steelbooks in there, as well as complete games. So this has obviously the original game, the steelbook collector's edition, and the soundtrack, which is pretty epic. It's one of my favorite games from the series. It was the first one that got me into the series, so I'm extremely excited to actually play it for you guys. Next up is Winback for the Nintendo 64. This guy is one of the first stealth actioners that I ever really played. As a very, very impatient 10-year-old, I was not into it as much as I could have been, and I ended up like trading it or trying to get rid of it. I don't remember what I traded it for, but I mean, I just wasn't as into these as I am now. And it's one of those games that it's like, I wish I never let it get away. So here's that, and I'm really excited to actually give it another shot on my N64 and with my level of patience that I have now. Next up from there is Spec Ops 2. Omega Squad. Now, this is for the Dreamcast, and this is sealed. It's got a tear in the seal, mind you. It's down here. But I'm a player collector, so I'll collect them, but I am going to play them. So pretty awesome to get a complete in-box first-person shooter for that console. I don't have any first-person shooters for it, so it's going to be exciting to actually get some. Really excited to break into Nightmare Creatures 2, by the way, because, I mean, so Rob Zombie did the soundtrack for that one. So we're going to move straight on from that. Disgaea 3 for the PlayStation Vita. This is one of my favorite series. It is straight up ridiculous. It is basically taking Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem style gameplay and turning it up on its head, or punching it in the throat, as the sixth one likes to say. And you get your printies, you get your main characters, and it is just a great game. You get to play with characters like Prinnies, which are basically like Demon Penguin, and you can they're explosive, so you can chuck them at your enemies, and they will kill them themselves as well, but they will kill them. It's fantastic, and I love it. White Knight Chronicles. Now, in a previous video, we showed you that we do have the second one, which actually includes this version of the game. It does have the first one, but for posterity's sake, we wanted a copy of this. This was actually in that free pile of games, too, so how could you say no to that? So, we got Tales of Symphonia and White Knight Chronicles from that alone. Next one, and this is again from that very same bundle, No More Heroes for the Nintendo Wii. This is a very crass action fighter type game, and it is a lot of fun, but definitely not for the faint of heart. And your character is a bit of a pervert and pig, totally not the type of dude that would survive well in today's social, what's the word I want to use? Landscape. Social landscape. He would be absolutely shredded. But it's funny because No More Heroes 3 did come out. That is an actual game. They did 1 and 2 and 3. And then again, that is from that freebie pile. The next one from that freebie pile is Tales of Xillia Collector's Edition. And so this is the just disc Collector's Edition. It's got the steelbook, the game. There is some costume DLC vouchers. I don't know if they were used, but the fact that the game is there, the steelbook, the character book, and the music CD, I'm really excited to add this one to the pile. And Tales are they're good games. They're great JRPGs. I mean, we have a series going for Tales of Berseria on PC. Next up, and could be in better condition in terms of the case, but otherwise the game is in good shape, Grand Theft Auto 2 for the PlayStation 2. Now, we own this for PC. We do own it for PC. We own 1, 2, 3, 4 on PS3, 1, 2, and 3 on PC/PS2 and PS1. And we chose between this and GTA London. Winback and GTA London were the games that we had to pick from that pile. And honestly, I wish I'd picked London because it is a rare game. It is hard to find that one, but London 1969 to be specific. Next up, Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. So again, this was from one of the lesser known shops, but it's one of the more, I think it is the most modern Breath of Fire game. I don't think they've done a new one since, because I mean they did the Game Boy Advance ones, and I think that was the last ones they did. Then this one came out, and then they just kind of stopped. So really exciting to get to play this one and dive into a full 3D version or / adventure of the game. I mean, that was one of the series that really got me into JRPGs, because it started with Pokemon, and then it turned into Breath of Fire, and then Final Fantasy VII just Final Fantasy VII straight up. And then I moved into 8, and then just from there, Jade Cocoon, and started playing a whole bunch of different JRPGs. They just became my favorite type of game. And then we had Kingdom Hearts come out and give us an action RPG. It was pretty friggin' solid. Now, if you are coming to this video first, this is our second video of April, so don't forget to go check out our extra. So the convention edition is just, we always like to do this and kind of show off some of the fun stuff that we find at conventions. And as a kind of a fun thing before we dive into the surprise there that we have, I'm going to grab the steelbooks that we ended up obtaining from this whole thing and showing you guys which ones we ended up with. So mainly these are kind of a special mention. Most of them, all of them, don't even really have their games, but it's still pretty cool to obtain the collector's edition because then you can just complete them yourself later. First up, and this is just not so much the steelbook, but this is the collector's edition of Killer is Dead for the PlayStation 3. And yeah, we got, apparently, it's got an art book, which I have seen. I've confirmed that that is in there. The soundtrack CD and some DLC content. Obviously, I can't confirm if the DLC is any good because, I mean, it is a used game. But kind of exciting to get that one. It's one of the bigger named titles. I'm probably going to go buy a steelbook version of the game by itself just to go collect it. We got a steelbook for Morrowind, or Elder Scrolls Morrowind to be specific, so ESO. So obviously no game, but it is a pretty nice looking steelbook, and I would buy ESO so I could put it in this because this looks pretty awesome. Dragon Ball Xenoverse, again, no game, but it is for the first game, and I actually have somebody that they were on the same post as me. I just got to this before they did, and they want some of these, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, pay me the gas to bring them to you, and you can just have the ones that you want, because I didn't pay anything for these. It wouldn't really be fair for me to ask for money as well, so I'm not going to. Short of, obviously, the gas to go pick them up. So I'm setting these ones aside because these are for that person. Dark Souls 2 with the soundtrack. So if you got a copy of Dark Souls 2, that's pretty sick. You get the soundtrack in a really, really good looking case, and it's textured too, so you can actually feel all of that. That's one of the ones he wants. One Piece Pirate Warrior 3. So basically Dynasty Warriors with One Piece characters. Again, no game, but it is a pretty damn good looking case. Right? Now, this one is in rougher shape than the rest. It's got scratches on it, but Dead or Alive 6 with Ryu. We got some Ryu on there, and that's pretty awesome. Dead or Alive is one of the first fighting games that I really got into, and now I'm more like Mortal Kombat. But then Sword Art Online, Hollow Realization. Again, steelbook only. I'm going to actually go buy the game so I can put it in this. Just because I've also played the actual I played the PS Vita game, and it is actually pretty good. That one's called Last Song. The very last of them, and is actually really cool to me especially, and this is definitely one of the ones I was keeping, and that is The Witcher 3's steelbook. So that's pretty awesome, and since I own the game on PS4 in hard copy, pop that in there. So that kind of concludes the actual games of this video, right? So I'm keeping Morrowind, I'm keeping The Witcher and Sword Art Online. I'm going to go give these ones to that guy, and I'm going to keep Dead or Alive 6 because, I mean, it'd be kind of cool to complete that one. There was also Lego DC Villains, the Harley Quinn cover, but we were selling it in our store, and the owner of this lot gave us permission to sell it with the game because, I mean, we'll increase the price a little bit, but they got a cool steelbook and the fully functioning game, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. And we'll give him the original case, of course, too. So that's going to show up on our retro store as well. So is our PlayStation 2 version of Winback if you are into that series, so you can keep an eye out for that. Lastly, and this is the surprise, as it were. Oh, and I'll show you the last piece of swag that we got from our expo there, is we did get a lightsaber. Because I'm a giant child, and I'm an adult that has adult money and buys child things. Anyways, so we picked up this. So there's two things here. There's obviously the two most important things are so one of which is a photo of my fiance with Matthew Lillard. He is a really, really nice guy, and he worked with someone in the crowd. They came up in an inflatable Pikachu costume, and he actually jumped them forward in the line. He's like, I want to know what Pikachu wants to ask. Whatever question they have, I gotta hear that. This is our last question, so I've got to hear what that Pikachu wants to know. And so, yeah, he pulled them forward and to ask their question. I felt kind of bad for the person that was, like, next in line, but I think everybody was a good sport about it, so Now, the very last thing, and this is the one that's really special to me, and that is Cameron Monaghan from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Gotham, and Shameless. And so we have a custom message of "May the Force be with you," and it is addressed to me, and he did that without being asked, and it's signed, and it's on the print from Jedi Fallen Order. I actually have his saber in real life, like the actual replica. So we did our review on our Kyber Light V4s, I think it was a V4 or V5, and his was the saber skin that it came with. So pretty psyched to set up a little display that that picture is going to be right beside. And I have my fair share of autographs, but his is probably one of the most important ones I've ever gotten. I mean, I didn't even get anybody else's autograph. There are plenty of people there that I would have loved to have met, but him, that was the big one. And like a special shout out to my fiance's friends, because the plan was never that we were even actually going to go in the first place. We have suffered a lot this year financially, and we were finally I was kind of accepting that we weren't going, that I wasn't going to be doing Expo this year, and they put together money enough for her to go and get a photo op with Matthew, and with the leftover funding from what they raised, I was able to get a ticket and go with her and kind of be like the emotional support person in her journey going to Expo and such, because my fiance does have some social anxiety, so it's very difficult for her to go to these large, very crowded events and actually like stay cool and collected. And since I knew Expo very well, and I knew where a lot of the things were going to be, providing like the layout was basically the same, so I mean, I knew where everything was and where she needed to be to do photo ops and stuff like that. So I was able to help her through that process. And it's just a special thank you to her friends for sending her to that, because as much as I would have loved to have bought my 4-day pass that I usually get and take her as well, it just wasn't in the cards this year, and you guys made that possible. So I just want to say thank you, and you guys rock. So anyways, that concludes our gaming pickup video. I know we did some stuff in this that we don't normally do for these videos, but I still thought that was kind of fun. So thanks for checking it out, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. So I mean, like, that's just one way you can support our channel, of course. So obviously you can find us over here on YouTube, Pydera Space 74, but we're also on Twitch at Pydera_74, and a lot of our console games actually stream there first. So go like, follow, and subscribe in these two places, and then you'll get to see all of our stuff as it launches and as it's live. Additionally, we have our retro gaming store, which I mentioned some of the games from this that were described in this video are actually going to end up on there at SV Retro Tech on eBay. You can also, of course, use our creator code Pydera74 with the energy maker w.gg. Fun fact, now it is giving people, I believe, 10% off, in addition to giving us our 10% cut. So you guys get a discount and we get a cut, and so it would go a long way to help support the channel. The most direct way you can support us, of course, is through our tipping link, which is through Streamlabs, and it's in the description of our bio on YouTube. That's where you can find all of the links to these things. That way you have an easy way to get there, and we hope to see you guys on the next video. And we'll be doing a little bit more in terms of videos. We've actually cleaned up our card stock so we can actually do our unboxings for cards and stuff like that. And I guess I did say the very last thing I'd show you guys, and that is a new lightsaber from CR Sabers, which go check them out. They are based out of British Columbia in Chilliwack, and they have probably the best bang for your buck lightsaber that you can get. So just 2 seconds. It was, in fact, not a literal 2 seconds later.
Power on.
So, it's a baselit saber. This is the one I chose for this year. It's a bit more of a standard build than I normally go with, but I'm excited to get this guy outside and beat up my 10-year-old with it. Don't worry, he has one too. He can hit back. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you guys next time.